Side, he's beaten him on the outside too, and that's a really dangerous cross. Taylor Crossdale made the right run, Sam.
Great delivery, really, really good. One-on-one against the fullback. Manavov pushes it around the outside, and I think the centre-half just does enough. Must have just had a hold of Martel, or maybe just got a little shove on him. Wasn't able to get anything on the ball, but really positive play from Dujon Sterling down this right-hand side.
Chelsea definitely in the last 10 minutes or so just starting to tick a bit more. Chalaba to Ampadu. Another ambitious ball. And he likes trying them, and he always will. That could have been David Luiz to Pedro in the first team, that attempt there.
Well, he's done well, I think, just getting on little knockdowns. If the centre-halves haven't won clean headers, he's been the one that's been picking the ball up and just tidying it up. I think his job will be to give it to Hudson-Odoi and Jacob Maddox, even to Luke McCormick, and let them try and make things happen. But in terms of just being the first line, if you like, in front of the back three, he's done it very well.
Might as well have played advantage there. Hudson-Odoi alive enough to spot McCormick in a bit of space, and he in turn has found Sterling. That's excellent work from Jacob Maddox, and that's a blatant foul again. And Manavov must have done 4 or 5 of them. Feisty character. Mostly annoyed, I guess, that he got charged down in the first place.
He's wanted to really challenge for every ball, every little ball he thinks he can get to. He's there snapping away, just leaving a little bit on the Chelsea player every time the ball's released.
It's almost a throwback. Not like the modern fullback. Luke McCormick over the free kick with about 10 or so to go to half-time. Chelsea find a breakthrough here. It's just over Chalaba, and then fired in by Maddox, and he's hit Ampadu. And still it's not clear. Well, now it's over the bar from Colley, and Ampadu's going to need some treatment here. Chelsea didn't stop, and you can kind of understand why. He has had that smashed at him.
Yeah, half cleared. Qarabag, and great strike from Jacob Maddox. Really got hold of it. Seeing it again now. Just flick to the D, really. Maddox arrives. It's a great strike. Hits Ampadu flush in the chest, is it? In the end, it's Colley who tries the acrobatics, just can't keep it down. But again, the ball just into the area. He can't deal with it. That's where the best chances are coming from at the moment. And looks, all ends up, that was going to be a really good attempt on goal from Jacob Maddox.
Just wouldn't sit for Colley, nor indeed Sterling immediately before him. High bouncing ball as Ampadu continues to receive treatment here.
It was all a bit manic in the end. Maybe Joseph Colley, if he could have just taken a touch, maybe settled himself down and just set it back to someone who was arriving. Instead, I think sometimes when you've got that momentum, the atmosphere's up, and you just try and take on a volley from a difficult opportunity. Maybe just set one of the players there, and Chelsea could have got their noses in front. But definitely been a lot improved in the last 10 minutes, and I think they've worked out really. They're not going to be able to play through them, certainly in this first half. Hudson-Odoi and Jacob Maddox, they haven't got any space. Even when the ball's been played into Martel, that's been very, very condensed. But when the ball has gone wide and balls have been whipped in, either from the byline or slightly deeper, the second ball getting on that, arriving, and that's when they've looked most dangerous.
Every precaution being taken. Didn't look like it got him in the head, so you wouldn't necessarily imagine concussion is part of this equation, but certainly shaken by it. It was a strong hit from Jacob Maddox. That'll teach him to get in the way. Well, in every game we've seen from him this term, Sam. He's always heavily involved, be that at the back chucking himself in the way of blocks or with great passing when he steps out. Obviously a slightly further forward role today. He's one of those players around whom things happen.
Yeah, absolutely, and doesn't look like a player who's, with all respect, learnt his trade. The bottom tier of English football. He looks very, very accomplished. His debut up at the Etihad, wasn't it? Against Manchester City, left of a back three and was really, really composed on that day. Played a variety of positions already, but I'll go back to what I said at the top of the show, really. Like his competitive nature, his willingness to go and challenge first and foremost, and then he just keeps it simple. But I think he has got a nice array of passing. Certainly this looks like this could be his position ultimately. But yeah, really like what I've seen from him so far.
Still 16 as well, let's not forget that. Only just. He'll be 17 on Thursday. Strong run here from Dujon Sterling, and fouled again by Mamavov. How many more is he going to get away with? And he's been after Dujon constantly, and the caution is coming. Not before time.
He's maybe landed on him as well. I think that's what Dujon's saying.
Yeah, brave boys picking on Dujon Sterling.
Yeah, Luke McCormick just having a word with Dujon, because we've seen him pick up some silly bookings in the past. But yeah, the left backs really had a go at him in this first half. Every ball that's been maybe 60-40 in Dujon's favour, he still snapped into the challenge. Been catching him all during that first 45 minutes, and certainly deserves to be going into the referee's book. Seen it again now. Good play from Dujon again, really positive down that side. I don't think there's too much in that follow-up, but it was a clear free kick, clear yellow card. Someone's gone over in the area.
Junior handbags here, and let's see what Robert Hennessy has seen. Ibrahim Gadizadze is down and presumably making a bit of a meal of it. Let's just have a look in the middle here.
It's nothing, Ben.
Reece James, honestly,
it's a little shove in his midriff, isn't it? It's nothing. Let's hope he deals with this the correct way, because you're going to get this when you get two different...
Oh, look at him looking.
You get two different sets of players, Ben, from two different leagues, two different ways to go about your business, and you often get this, even going back to when I was a young player, when you played against teams from other countries. That's why it's so good for him, learning the discipline about different atmospheres, different players, play acting, and he's dealt with it really well.
He's absolutely fine, and the referee has told him not to mess about. Well done, Robert Hennessy, for not getting carried away with that, because officials can often react to the consequence rather than the act. And after all that nonsense, Chelsea have a free kick in a dangerous position, very close to the edge of the box. McCormick chips it into the gloves of Hussainov, and much ado about nothing in the end.
Yeah, shame, just too floaty really from McCormick. Got to try and miss out that 6-yard box, just pull it back a little bit more pace on it. It's too flat, it's easy for the goalkeeper, and already I'm thinking about this away leg. It'll be nice and tasty, won't it, over there, I'm sure, in that atmosphere.
And freezing cold at the end of November.
Just can't get drawn into anything silly, need to keep their discipline already. James took a little bit of a risk. I'm not saying there was anything in it, but just got to try and keep composed. And I'm sure they won't be able to defend in this manner, as resilient as they have been in this first half. When the game gets stretched, as they get tired, maybe when Joe can introduce a few fresh legs from the bench, there'll be more opportunities than there has been in this first period, that's for sure.
Hudson-Odoi and co are going to be itching to get running at them, never mind the replacements. Nasty ankle injury for Trev on England duty. That's why he didn't finish that tournament and didn't feature until the Sunderland game here on Saturday.